The St. Petersburg Museum of History has been amassing exhibits since 1920, the early boom days of St. Petersburg. A decidedly eclectic collection, the items range from fossilized footprints to St. Pete's famous green benches. There's an audio-visual presentation, hands-on exhibits of costumes, and the Flight 1 gallery devoted to pilot Tony Janis. It also includes the Benoit Flyer. The Soreno Hotel was the first of 10 grand hotels built in St. Petersburg between 1923 and 1926. The unusual addition of a 7th floor was completed in 1929, bringing the total number of rooms to 300. During World War II, the Soreno was occupied by servicemen and then operated as a winter season hotel until it closed in 1984. This former site of the Soreno Hotel is now occupied by the Florencia, a high-rise condo building. Just behind the historical marker on the building's exterior is a fountain, which is adorned with a concrete relief of the Soreno's logo, a coat of arms which was featured on many items at the hotel, such as the fine china. The Detroit Hotel was constructed in 1888 and has the distinction of being St. Petersburg's first building. It is currently under renovation, and they found a treasure hunt of sorts. The first thing they found was a 115-year-old elevator that predated electricity and was operated with a hand crank. Workers also uncovered a two-sided fireplace, a staircase leading to nowhere, a mural painted in the 1970s, and the hotel's switchboard, which is so old it's made of wood. The Women's Town Improvement Association was founded in 1901 at the Detroit Hotel by the city's most prominent women. Their efforts focused on the beautification of Williams Park. As a result of their efforts, we can now enjoy beautiful waterfront parks, sidewalks, band shells, and paved streets, just to name a few. St. Petersburg is known for many firsts. Tony Janis flew the first commercial air flight ever recorded. It's also the site of the first railroad to come to the Pinellas Peninsula. But it's also recognized for the first open-air post office. It remains a unique design that's not only practical, but extremely ornate in its architectural appearance. The postmaster at the time, Roy Hanna, wanted people to be able to check their mailboxes any time of the day or night. And it made sense being open in the Florida summer heat. At its peak in the 1980s, J.G. McCrory's had 1,300 five and dime stores, including this one in the building on Central Avenue in downtown St. Petersburg. Unfortunately, the chain went out of business in 2002 due to competition from Walmart and other big box stores. But this building has survived and is now home to several restaurants and offices. The S.H. Kress and Company building is a historic building located on Central Avenue at the corner of 5th Street in downtown St. Petersburg. The building operated as a five and dime store from 1927 until the company closed in 1981. It's built in the classical commercial style influenced by the Beaux Art movement. Beaux Art architecture became part of the late 19th century American Renaissance movement. It's characterized by order, symmetry, formal design, grandiosity, and elaborate ornamentation. As we head toward the Crislip arcade, please notice this ghost sign. It's usually an old hand-painted advertising sign that's been preserved on a brick building for an extended period of time. It's usually kept for its nostalgic appeal. This is the Crislip arcade. It stood here since 1925 and is one of the 10 historic arcades that dotted downtown St. Petersburg. Out of the 10, only 4 remain. If you walk through the arcade to the alley behind, you'll see many beautiful murals painted by local artists. We rode our bikes all around beautiful Mirror Lake, and you can see now that we're at the Shuffleboard courts. Let's start with the dimensions. They're 52 feet in length, 39 feet from baseline to baseline, and 6 feet wide. These dimensions were standardized here in St. Pete in 1928 when the 4-year-old club realized that it was time to end the confusion of rules that varied from club to club across Florida. Signs of local influence show up even in the jargon of the game. The center line running through the scoring triangles became informally known as Central Avenue, named for St. Petersburg Main Street. From the grandstand seats, you can watch them play shuffleboard on the terrazzo courts, or you can take a stroll inside and play cards at the card tables. If you're interested in playing by yourself, they host the Shuffle every Friday night from 7 to 10 p.m. If you aren't interested in shuffleboard, then maybe you'd like to go across the street to the finest ballroom in the South. This Coliseum was featured in the popular motion picture Cocoon, and the landmark opened in 1924. An all-star list of big band musicians have performed here, and hundreds of thousands have danced on the 13,000 square foot maple dance floor, one of the nation's largest. The Mirror Lake Community Library is built in the Beaux Arts style, with sculptural decoration along conservative modern lines, slightly overscaled details, bold supporting consoles, rich deep cornices, swags, and sculptural enrichments. The Beaux Arts style heavily influenced the architecture of the United States from 1880 to 1920. The building's architect, Henry D. Whitfield, worked for the Carnegie Corporation and designed this library, It's one of 10 in the state of Florida. Built in 1939, St. Petersburg's City Hall is significant for its distinction as being one of the few buildings in our city constructed under a Public Works Administration grant. One of the rules of the WPA was that it needed to be called a municipal building, and you'll see that reflected in the sign above the doors. City Hall is also important as it's a modern example of Mediterranean revival architecture. There is one mural remaining as you ascend the interior stairs to the second floor. It's 7 feet by 10 feet in size and is painted by the artist George Snow Hill. Across the street from City Hall, you'll see 10 giant red chairs in the grass. These represent one jurist's interpretation of the jury that he sat on. Each person is different, as each chair is different. Finally, on the corner, you'll see one single red chair that represents the defendant. As we made our way to our final stop, Williams Park, we passed 2 beautiful churches. The first church is St. Peter's Episcopal Cathedral and has a tall tower. The second church that's under repair is the First United Methodist Church. Both border Williams Park. Our last stop today is Williams Park, located in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. It was the city's very first park and encompasses an entire city block. It was founded in 1888 and was originally named City Park. It was changed later to Williams Park in honor of the co-founder of St. Petersburg, John Constantine Williams Sr. As you can see today, there's a farmer's market going on, and it's crowded with people and bikes and pets and food. There's also a gem of a band shell where they play music to listening crowds. Thanks for joining us on our tour of St. Petersburg, Florida.